Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Rising Signs of the Zodiac series. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about what it means if you or someone that you know has your rising sign ruled by the sign of Aquarius. So, what is the rising sign? What do I mean by that? This is the sign that was on the eastern horizon at the moment of your birth, and it rules the first house of your birth chart. So, it's the first out of the 12 houses, and it is the most important house. Not just because it comes first, but also because it's the house of the self, the house of me, the house of I am. This is the house that people see, okay? And it's considered to be one of the big three in astrology in your birth chart. So we have, I would say, like, if life is like a video game, say you're playing a video game, the sun would be why you're playing that. What drives you to play it? What gives you energy and what makes you want to complete this game? What you do in it. And the moon would represent your emotions while you're playing that game, and the rising sign would be the actual person in the game, the virtual representation of a person that you control in that game. The way that they look, the way that they walk, the way they talk, interact with the world, their physical form, that would all be like rising sign stuff. Okay, so it's super important. And it's the most obvious thing. Like, people might think their sun sign is the most obvious thing. No, it's the rising sign. This is how you come across to other people, especially in first impressions, especially when people don't know us super well. It's the face that we put out into the world. It's the mask, and by mask I don't mean fake. I just mean like it doesn't tell the whole story, because that's not possible. You need to have some sort of front face mask in order to interact with the world. In this first house, it comes from very early life experiences and how you navigated the world, how you found best to kind of thrive and survive in your environment, and took on that and be like, well, this is how I need to be, so this is how I'm going to be, and this is what the first house represents. So if you are an Aquarius rising, that means yeah, you're a very individualistic person, freedom loving, quite rebellious, quirky, unconventional. So you might be seen as a little bit strange sometimes, but what is seen as strange today is tomorrow's trend, is the cool thing tomorrow, next year. So Aquarians are ahead of the curve. They're like trailblazers in a way. And when you have that in the first house, it's like, yeah, trailblazers in like how they act, how they talk, how they dress, how they look. 1 foot in the future. I would say that about Aquarians. They got 1 foot in the present, got 1 foot in the future. And why is that? That's because they have 2 planets that rule them. Some people are very dogmatic about this, and they'll say, no, Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, and they will not recognize the modern rulers. I certainly do. You can't get the full picture of what Aquarius is without Uranus. So Uranus is rebellion, it's trailblazing, it's doing something bold, breaking tradition, it's electric, it's futuristic. Saturn is very stern, sensible, because it's about duty, responsibility, the limits of what is possible, the actual cold hard facts, reality, and limitation. So when we put that together, we see someone who, yeah, it's like, okay, 1 foot in the present, 1 foot in the future, you know. So yeah, absolutely individualistic, and not in a way where they're like deliberately courting attention, or like, it's not an ego thing. In fact, the reason that they are this way is probably the opposite of because they want attention. It's probably because they don't care. The Aquarius rising people are less likely to be egotistical about how they come across, and then it depends on what else is going on in your chart. But just looking at the rising sign, Aquarius is on the axis of Aquarius, Leo, Sun, Saturn, Uranus. So the 5th house, which would represent, you know, like ego, the spotlight. The 11th house, which is associated with Aquarius, is about taking that spotlight and putting that on everyone else, humanity, okay, and being like, I am individual, I am my own person, but I'm part of a collective. So putting that in the first house, it's like saying, like, I don't necessarily want all the attention, I don't want all the praise, I don't really care, I'm happy to share. And for that reason, they're like, I'm just going to do my own thing then, because the reason that they are maybe kind of unique in their appearance and their fashion and everything is because they're like, well, I don't care really what other people think, so I'm going to do my own thing. And that in itself is cool, like, to not care. Like, that's a cool thing that they have. So there is a cool glamour that Aquarian rising people absolutely have, and it's like a kind of distant, uh, cold, kind of even sparkly kind of energy. So what they say about Aquarius energy, is it's like not only futuristic, but it's also associated with like aliens and Aquarius rising people. They're often maybe more likely to be tall, thin, have a large forehead, thin neck. Like this is Aquarius rising stuff. One example of a famous Aquarius rising is David Bowie. So David Bowie's interesting. He has that kind of alien look. Strong Saturn in the first house. He has a strength. If you look at a lot of his photos of him and all that, there's like he's very like angular, chiseled, and stern, but also very strange and unique and alien. So like because he's got Uranus and Saturn ruling his first house because he's an Aquarius rising. And he did a movie where he did play an alien, I believe. He also has one. He had one pupil that was bigger than the other, so that's very Uranian, right? So Uranus is the planet of rebellion. So what's interesting about Uranus is all of the other planets they spin round. So I'm not using very technical words about this, but they spin round in a very traditional way, like on their horizontal axis. Like the Earth spins round on its side. But Uranus, it spins almost like a bowling ball, where it's like kind of more vertical, and it's the only planet in the solar system that does that. So it's it's like breaking the convention just by the way that it is, because it's spinning on the basically the different axis than what the other planets do. So Uranus, the rule breaker, having that in the first house, person's more likely to break rules or have an appearance that is different. Speaking of David Bowie, he had one pupil that was bigger than the other. That's very Uranian. It's very like you expect something, but you get something different. It's like conventions do not apply here. So Aquarius rising people are more likely to have something, different about their appearance and their fashion, and just like the way that they look. Um, so yeah, another thing about David Bowie as well, he had the lightning bolt makeup, which I thought was funny because it's Uranus. That's very Uranian. It's Uranus is like electric, rule breaking, and shocking as well. So those things, those attributes are very associated with like a lightning bolt. So to for him to have that, he's like the perfect Aquarius rising. Like super, like he really really embodied Aquarius rising so much. So yeah, basically, I would say yeah. So very much doing their own thing, future focused, progressive, and inclusive. So Aquarius rising people are very concerned about what is fair for other people. They want to share. They don't like to be selfish or put themselves first. Depends on what else is going on in the chart, but generally with Aquarius rising, they're like feel uncomfortable with going first. They want to share. They might feel guilty if they get something and other people don't, and they just don't think that's right. So popular for this reason, popular because they care about what's best for other people generally, and they do well in groups, and that is because Aquarius it rules large groups of people. It rules the 11th house, which is the house of very very large groups of people. It's the house of organizations and yeah, social groups. So having that in the first house, we're seeing someone is more likely to be social, connected, popular. It's yeah, basically. So Aquarius rising people, they can seem like I'm saying, like cool because they got air, which is cold and rational and thinking. They got Saturn, so they can seem emotional. Not that they're not emotional, but they can seem unemotional. Sorry, not that they're not emotional at all, but like they just don't really put that out there so much. Like they kind of like they seem very cool headed and just very like a smooth operator. Like that's very Aquarius rising. So they know how to like at least seem like they can keep a cool head. And yeah, they so Aquarius rising people, they have Aries in the third house. Generally, it depends on what house system you use, but let's just say for simplicity's sake, if we're using all signs, you got Aries in the third house. That's communication. Aries in the sign in the house of communication. That's bold, direct, strong communicator. Yeah, absolutely. So Aquarius rising people, like just honest, direct, to the point. Aquarius rising people probably don't use a lot of flowery language, don't like people that do that. They like people that are just direct and straight to the point, because air as well. And the first house is air is quick. Air is about connectivity and messaging. So it's kind of like just give me the message. Just I want to tell you what I think. You tell me what you think. Um, so yeah, they're very much about that. Not really a sentimental, soft communicator. It's more just like more kind of business like. Actually, they can be. And yeah, just like super likely to have a more eclectic group of interests and group of friends and associates as well, because Aquarians don't really judge like that. They're like, I'll be friends with people from all walks of life. So Aquarius rising people, yeah, likely to have like a broad range of social connections. And they have Leo on the descendant. So Leo is all about the spotlight, creativity, living in the moment, self-expression. It's the sign of ego, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but Leo is the sign of ego. It's ruled by the sun, which is ego, identity, soul, even. So having that and the descendant, this is what you don't identify with. This is what you need other people to bring into your life, other people to show you. That is that you don't always have to think about what's best for everyone. You don't always have to put other people first. Sometimes it's alright for you to say, yeah, like I'm doing this for me. I'm gonna do what's right for me. I'm gonna have fun, or I'm gonna live in the moment, or yeah, I often think about what's best for the future, but right now I'm just gonna do what's best for right now and have fun right now, and express your truth, not just like other people's truths, and work and live for other people. It's like, yeah, express yourself and what you think. So Aquarius rising people, you could end up in careers and vocations and activities and hobbies that are all about helping other people, the collective, humanity, making things better for the future. And it's important to let your fire out, to let your creativity, your self-expression out, and use that, because it's in the descendant, but it's there. You just struggle to identify with it, depending on what else is going on in your birth chart. Of course, you might well be a Leo sun, Leo moon, but with Leo in the descendant, there will be a tendency to not recognize that those qualities in your birth chart generally. So yeah, basically that's about it for Aquarius rising. So if you like this video, please leave a like, please leave a comment, hit the bell icon. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care and bye for now.